Hello and welcome to the Musical Instrument Investigator. We are back on the website of Gardiner Houlgate Auctioneers based in the UK, and we're going to have a look at day 3 of their guitar sales. So they have auctions on the 9th, 10th and 11th, which are all kind of guitar based, and then there's also another auction on the 11th which is musical instruments. Usually there's 2 guitar auctions and 1 musical instrument ones, but for some reason they've decided to switch this into 3 guitar and 1 musical instrument, although usually you would expect to see these lots, which are historic guitars, either in the main guitar auction, or really interesting ones would probably end up in the musical instrument one. So I'm not sure exactly why they've decided to split this off, but anyway, this auction is finishing on the 11th of March at 10 AM, and then the main musical instrument catalogue, which is separate to this, starts from 11 AM, I believe. So definitely interesting. There's 50 excuse me, there's 51 lots in this auction. These are all kind of historic guitars. The buyer's premium is 22%, and it's 26.4 with VAT added. If you're looking to get something shipped, look at the terms and conditions. If you're outside of the UK, in Europe or internationally, then check out the import export fees, etc., all that stuff. Yeah, some interesting stuff here. 51 lots, so it won't take us too long to get through the catalogue, but there are definitely some very interesting things. So if we start, we have the Madame Sidney Pratten collection of guitars. So it's 7 antique guitars, some sheet music, original watercolor pictures, and some other kind of stuff. So saying here, it's rare to find such an archive of a prominent 19th century guitar teacher and player. So yeah, there's lots of stuff here. We'll kind of look at a few pictures, of which there are 52, and we'll kind of see what's around. That's the best way to do this. Let's see. There's interesting pictures here, so it's an interesting collection, and then we'll read about them a little bit below. This is probably the main reason that I think that this is being created as a separate auction. We can read about them below. Definitely quite a few interesting items here. Nice bird's eye back on that. Definitely some interesting items here. A few kind of pictures and things like that. So definitely. So what we have here is 19th century guitar labelled Sidney Pratten, instructness to H.R.H. Princess Louise. The guitar belonged to my father, Ferdinand Pelzer. 19th century guitar labelled Alfred Hayes, Royal Exchange. 19th century guitar labelled Madame R. Sidney. 19th century guitar labelled selected by Madame Sidney Pratten. Mid-19th century guitar labelled Addison and Hodgson. 19th century guitar labelled selected by Sidney Pratten. Early 19th century French guitar sold with papers relating to Napoleon Bonaparte, with an envelope hand inscribed Napoleon's General No. 10 Captain Bacheville gave my father Ferdinand Pelzer this guitar as a relic, he being a pupil of my father and had a real love for him as he played the guitar so splendidly. It was over my father's bed for many years. There you go. I mean, this is really interesting kind of lot of curious things, watercolors and things like that. I don't think I'm really doing the description any justice, but we obviously have the kind of guitars and documents from like an important kind of player and teacher of the 19th century guitar, and we have the guitars here for sale, so that is definitely interesting and kind of worth looking in more detail. So 30 to 40,000 is the estimate there, so it'd be curious to see what happens. So yeah, I think very interesting. So Miss Pratten died in 1895. Her sister Gilia Peltzer inherited many of her instruments and archives, which were sold at auction at Sotheby's in 1938. Many of these papers and one instrument were resold at Christie's on 25th of July 1978 and purchased by the vendor. Aside from the two selected by annotated guitars, the Gigaliera and the cloth-covered music folders to the contents, the rest of this collection was bought by the vendor in another London auction following the Christie's event in 1978. So there you go. This is kind of collection is mainly stayed together. I'm not sure if that will be the case after this auction. But yeah, this is definitely a very interesting kind of lot for sure, and you can see there's lots of different information here about the individual instruments that we probably won't go into at this moment, but yeah, a very interesting lot indeed. Then we have a 19th century guitar. Oh, this is another model of guitar as used by Madam Sidney Pratten. So that's kind of interesting, but it's separate to the actual collection. So I'm sure this is very historically important for sure. 19th century guitar labelled J.C. Maker, 39 Great Eastern Street, Brighton, Sussex, 1830. It's an interesting looking guitar. Interesting French guitar, circa 1840, labelled DNA Rudolph from Paris. 3 to 4,000 is the estimate here. Spanish guitar Batente of exceptionally lightweight construction, 4 to 5,000. It's quite interesting. Circa 1800. I was going to say guitars of this type from Spain are very rare. I mean, that is extremely true. So this could go quite high, I would think, depending on what the market's like. I'm not quite sure. Rare 19th century English guitar by Thomas Howell. You also get Howell violins as well, 3 to 5,000. French or Spanish 12-string guitar, circa 1800. Nice example, 2.5 to 3,000. Early 20th century German tenor guitar. Interesting looking. 250 to 350 is the estimate there. 19th century guitar in need of restoration, varying with a Lacotte label, 3 to 5,000. Guitar has been within the vendor's family for at least a century. Okay. Austrian Wappen type guitar, circa 1900. That's like means shield. Interesting enough, you get these shield guitars and shield mandolins about. This is possibly one of the most interesting lots that has come to auction for quite a while, in my opinion. So a Italian Schitteriglia. So this is really quite outstanding. I mean, it's very rare to kind of come across an item of this kind of quality these days, usually in kind of private collections already. If you see the quality of the rosette and this kind of vaulted back, yeah, incredibly impressive, like a museum quality instrument. Yeah, Citariglia, attributed to Giovanni Smith in Milan, circa 1645. Yeah, very interesting. Formerly of the Harvey Hope collection, sold with an LP recording by Harvey Hope featuring the guitar on the front cover. Yeah, this is a very, very interesting guitar indeed. An antique guitar, back and sides, figured maple, cracks, 6 to 800. Looks like a fairly standard kind of thing. Interesting Portuguese guitar, labelled Estabel Cimento Amoroso San Leandro, California. Always interesting. 19th century guitar labelled Chapel, London, possibly by John Gerard. That's kind of 1000 to 1500. Interesting 19th century guitar, Brazilian rosewood. Early 20th century luthier built Lacotte style guitar. 19th century small body guitar, back and sides maple, long repair to the back. Interesting 19th century guitar in need of restoration, probably French. Interesting 19th century guitar with some restorations. Definitely a lot of potential here. Classical guitar by and labelled Brian Philip Brealey, Nottingham. It's kind of curious. With a part-built classical guitar. 1976 Alistair McNeil guitar, back and sides Indian rosewood. 1000 to 2000. It's really good classical guitar. 1991 Christopher Dean classical guitar. 1993 Alan J. Booth nylon guitar. 1998 Jose Ramirez R2 classical guitar, made in Spain. 2007 Farida C52 classical guitar. 1986 Manuel Rodriguez Jr. guitar. 1974 Jose Ramirez Class 1A flamenco guitar, it's made in Madrid. 1992 Michael G concert guitar, made in England. 1972 RE Spain for Ivan Reitz, classical guitar there. 1957 Hofner Master Model 497 classical guitar, made in Germany. 1950s Hofner Vienna guitar in need of restoration. 1970s Yamaha G85A classical guitar. Late 1970s Mervi Rafael Molina classical guitar. And a whole load of other kind of classical guitars, not too exciting. Martinez MC48C SEN classical guitar. Mira F4 classical guitar. And a Kimbara classical guitar, Hiscox hard case, and another BM kind of guitar. That's all very low quality stuff. Landola C200C nylon guitar, with a few other guitars there. Raimondo Model 106 classical guitar, and a few others. Whole load of other kind of classical guitars. The first one, like kind of older Spanish style nylon kind of flamenco guitars, probably the most interesting there. A whole load of kind of low quality nylon string guitars, same again, and more just kind of generic ones, same. More just kind of generic stuff. Yamaha CG 150 SA nylon guitar. A whole load of other kind of fairly generic guitars again. Terada Model 600 classical guitar, made in Japan. And a Cordoba Fusion Series 12 Maple Electro classical guitar. And 4 guitars, including a Russian nylon string. 1994 Ricardo Sanchez Caprio Model 2A classical guitar. And then we're back to the beginning again. Yeah, an interesting auction. I'm still not quite sure why they kind of put this separately and didn't just kind of split it over their normal catalogue things, so they like to kind of put a million lots in one thing, but anyway they did. But Obviously, this is probably the most important thing, is the Madam Sidney Pratten collection of guitars. So it's probably historically kind of important. So that's something that is worth investigating a bit further. It's not someone that I'm aware of, but my knowledge of kind of 19th century kind of guitar players, teachers is very limited. So it's good to kind of know about this. So I'll try and look this up in the future and learn a bit more about it, but I don't think I'm really doing it justice, other than to say then there are some nice examples of 19th century guitars in this collection, for sure. So definitely worth kind of reading into that a bit before. But I do have to say that the star lots, this kind of Battante is really quite interesting. And this Italian guitar is really quite incredible. Yeah, that I think is quite outrageous. So for those alone, it's worth looking at. And I think I need to do a bit more research myself. So once again, thanks for looking at this auction. Some interesting kind of guitars here, and some stuff for me to kind of research and learn a bit more about, I think. So yeah, it's interesting to see when these kind of collections come up and try and learn a bit more about people. So if you have any kind of information about Madame Sidney Pratten or any of these other guitars, feel free to comment below. Until next time, ciao for now. Bye. Many thanks for tuning in to the Musical Instrument Investigator. I hope that you enjoyed the video. If you did, then please like, subscribe and turn on notifications, and watch out for the next video coming soon.